During the break, so I'm just going to let you in on some behind-the-scenes stuff. I'm running around like a chicken with my head cut off. I'm talking to Kurt Nimmo. I'm talking to Paul Watson. I'm talking to Steve Watson. And I've got them all writing articles because a lot of times I call and give them the data, send them the links, ask them to do more research, put it together, and they're saying, okay, exactly what do you want? I want all three of you from different perspectives, whatever angle you see with your own mind, to explain this to people. There are 6 reactors at Fukushima. 2 of them have blown sky high. Number 3 in unbelievably spectacular fashion with a mushroom cloud, thousands of feet in the air, ejecting what is clearly the guts of the reactor into the air. Do you know what that means? Massive uranium fallout. Cesium was picked up Friday. It was picked up yesterday. Radioactive iodine. They lied and said it wasn't a meltdown. Now they're admitting it was a meltdown Saturday. This was clearly a mega meltdown today at Fukushima number 3. There are 4 more reactors. Headline, chain reaction underway at Fukushima plants. Cover-up of chain reaction at Fukushima plants underway. If Friday and Saturday they were fighting for their lives to keep them from melting down, what do you think's going to happen now in the middle of 6 reactors close to each other with 2 of them blowing up? Blowing up. And the media is now saying, well, it was a nitrogen or a hydrogen explosion, and yeah, there's some radiation. It was 6 miles, 20, 60 miles. Yeah, they're covering it up. And they were laughing at us, the media was Saturday, saying fallout could hit the West Coast. Now it's AccuWeather, it's Fox News, it's mainstream, but they're just calmly reporting, yeah, some fallout. Ladies and gentlemen, Chernobyl was small compared to these reactors. And it released, according to the London Guardian and the Atomic Energy Agency, 400 times the A-bomb. Was it Hiroshima or Nagasaki? Hiroshima, correct? I've got all this data in front of me. The point is 400 times one of the A-bombs. Does that give you an idea? 400 times. And it was small compared to this. That's what I'm saying. And the same thing happened with Russia. For weeks, Russia covered up the full extent of it. I'm telling you, there is a cover-up going on here. And I'm sure the media will write articles, even though we have all the data, saying, oh, there's no cover-up. I mean, here's Think Progress, funded by George Soros, today, saying, note, Real Alex Jones on Twitter, conspiracy website, also has a permanent link on Drudge. Question for media, why do you continue to revere and rely on Drudge when he's promoting conspiracy theorists like Alex Jones? Question, why are you linking to conspiracy theorists for perspective on Japanese nuke crisis? Why does Drudge link to us? Because Infowars.com is bigger than MSNBC and GlennBeck.com combined, pal. Because we call things. We break news. We know what we're talking about. We called the meltdown at Fukushima 1 before anybody else did. Because when I see a giant containment facility completely blow up like a 100,000-pound bomb got dropped on it, I'll assure you there's going to be fallout and radiation when it was already leaking everywhere Friday. When cesium and radioactive iodine are being released, it means that there is a meltdown taking place. That's a fact in the books. When it then blows sky high, what do you think's going on when it's already leaking? When reactor number 3 blew up, what do you think's going to happen? It's a chain reaction that undoubtedly is going to cause the other 4 plants to melt down. There's 2 other plants separate that they're fighting with their lives valiantly to keep from melting down. The Japanese government's playing it down but admits a meltdown happened yesterday, Saturday. No doubt it happened today at Fukushima 3. And that radiation is coming towards the United States. Fox News, AP, AccuWeather. I'm right again. Gerald Salente is joining us in the 3rd hour today. I'm very upset by government in Japan and others lying when the meltdown was clearly going on at Fukushima number 1 on Friday. It blew up Saturday morning. They now admit meltdown. The Japanese government admits meltdown as of Saturday evening. Okay? Today, Fukushima number 3, with the other 4 plants right beside it, blew up in a spectacular, horrifying fashion, clearly ejecting its guts thousands of feet into the air. Now, Let's say the metal containment isn't ejected, and that's what it looks like in the cloud. It's definitely damaged. They were battling when it blew up to keep it from completely melting down. Well, that's what a complete meltdown does, that type of chain reaction explosion. And I'm working on getting Dr. Doug Rockey on as soon as possible. He's in D.C. in hearings, nuclear physicist, wrote the Pentagon's DU weapons program, wrote the literal book on it, wrote their safety specs, all of it on it. We're working on getting him on as soon as possible. I've got Haaretz. Japan nuclear blast could be more deadly than Chernobyl. Experts fear. Boom. All the experts are coming out. But I will be attacked and remembered for being right. In this world, being right is what's evil. Knowing what you're talking about is what's bad. I told you Friday that it was melting down. I told you Saturday it was going to blow up, and it did blow up. I told you that was caused by a meltdown. Now they've been forced to admit it. And I'm telling you that 3 blew up. Oh, it's incredible. It's like watching your neighbor's house burn, and your neighbors have got hot dogs on sticks in the fire, roasting them, telling you there's no fire. And the idiots over at, and there's a bunch of others over at George Soros' Think Progress, are attacking Drudge for linking to us in our report that the George Washington blog put out. I called my writer Saturday and I said, write articles about fallout hitting the West Coast. Here's the maps. Here's the reports. My writers were like, well, we don't see any mainstream news on it. I said, well, we'll be the first. That's where the jet stream and the prevailing winds and the trade winds under them come from. And I said, look, George Washington got it right. Post his article, Drudge linked to it. Now it's all over the news. My point is, we know what we're talking about. I do research. I don't make stuff up. Am I wrong occasionally? Yes. But do I try to tell the truth? Do I do my research? Do I bust my butt? I spent Friday night and hours Saturday studying satellite footage, live feeds of the jet stream, reports of previous radiological releases to bring you this information. Now, the big issue is there are nuke plants all over Japan, and I was incorrect. It's more than 2. There are more than 2 other plants separate from the 6 at Fukushima that are in danger. They're having trouble cooling. And so, bottom line, ladies and gentlemen, bottom line, this is a big deal. And you should calmly call your doctor, call clinics. Don't take my advice. Though it's standard procedure to take nutritional iodine for a full-grown adult, 2 drops with the average. It'll say on the back, in a glass of water a day, just for normal thyroid health. But that will fill your thyroid with good iodine so that you don't absorb this stuff. And obviously, even though it's massive radiation being released, and even though experts are saying, you know, that just Chernobyl was 400 times Hiroshima, and that's a small compared to what's happened in Japan, that it's not going to be the type of dose that kills you in a week. It'll be the type of dose that just increases your chances of cancer. But the media should be now telling people as a precaution to get potassium iodine and to take the recommended dosages of it. I mean, if not for yourself, you dumb yuppies, do it for your children. We'll be right back. Stay with me. We are live into hour number 2. Infowars.com and prisonplanet.com are both struggling under record visits as people try to get the analysis we're breaking down. More reports coming out by the great writers Kurt Nimmo, Steve Watson, Paul Watson, Aaron Dykes. I've all got them working on different facets of this, but there is a chain reaction happening. 2 plants Saturday and today at the Fukushima facility. Reactor 1 and 3 have blown sky high. Number 3, incredible explosion today. You better believe that was caused by a total meltdown. As I said Saturday, at least 5 hours before anybody else reported it. Meltdown caused nuke plant explosion safety board. This out of the news of Japan. Nikkei. Meltdown caused nuke plant explosion safety body. The Japanese government admitted that Fukushima number 1 could have only been caused by a meltdown of the reactor core. But meanwhile, the plant spokesman says that it was just a collapse of the building. You saw the explosion. I wonder if the new explosion is a collapse. Yes, that's what they're saying. And they're hoping no radiation has been released, even though it's already been reported since Friday. It's been spilling out of it. Radioactive, iodine, you name it. So that is going on, ladies and gentlemen. Get that through any of you's minds out there who are in denial. Here's Haaretz out of Jerusalem. Japan, nuclear blast could be more deadly than Chernobyl, experts fear. Experts in Israel and abroad divided on the scope of disaster at Japan's nuclear plants. The Japanese government hasn't provided accurate information regarding the threat posed by explosions at Fukushima nuclear power plant. And you're not seeing footage up close. Remember, the tiny explosion comparatively at Chernobyl in Ukraine in 1986, and we'll show you that video of that for PrisonPlanet.tv viewers, was tiny compared to this and was estimated by the London Guardian, a nuclear physicist, to be 400 times that of the A-bomb dropped on Hiroshima. It appears that immediately after the earthquake, warnings were first heard. The Japanese authorities shut down all 6 reactors located in the affected region, which lies 250 kilometers north of the capital, Tokyo, by cutting off the flow of electricity to the reactors. But the emergency generator, whose functions provide power to the pump responsible for cooling the reactor, did not activate. As a result, the reactor core began to heat up. At the same time, radioactive materials and gases were emitted into the air, but measurements taken indicate the amount was relatively minimal. Yeah, 1,000 times safe levels, AP. The most dangerous elements discharged were iodine and cesium, 2 byproducts of nuclear fission process, that's how we knew the meltdown was happening, that takes place in nuclear plants. These are 2 relatively volatile compounds that can easily spread into the atmosphere. Professor Uzi Evan of Tel Aviv University, who is the past worker at the Israeli Atomic Energy Commission, told Haaretz that these 2 compounds are extremely dangerous, which is why the Japanese government yesterday began distributing iodine tablets, which neutralize the threat of radioactive poisoning of the primary affected thyroid gland. Bingo. People are emailing me saying, how dare I tell folks take iodine? You people make me sick. Even, people that are denying this, even recalled that several years ago, Israel had distributed such tablets to residents living in the vicinity of the nuclear reactor in Dimona in the event of a dangerous materials leaked into the air. He also noted that another potential source of danger is the possibility that the measuring equipment used to gauge the heat levels in the reactor core could spin out of control as a result of a cut in power. Or the giant explosions at reactor 1 and 3. I mean, there is no reactor 1 and 3. They completely blew off the map. There's reactor 3 blowing up 5.5 hours ago. Look at it, mushroom cloud, 3,000 to 4,000 feet in the air, giant black pieces of equipment raining down out of it. And they say it's no big deal. I will not go along with this cover-up. And it goes on to say that that it could be much more devastating than Chernobyl. No kidding, it already is. Warn people. Here's New York Times. Radioactive releases in Japan could last months, experts say. New York Times. Boom. LA Times. Volcano in southern Japan erupts. There's reactors all over the country that they're saying are in emergency situations and heating up. And we know it's worse because the Japanese have been lying about it and covering up. Here's ABC News Australia. Nuclear crisis highlights history of cover-ups. A documentary filmmaker who spent much of his career focusing on Japanese nuclear industry says it has a long history of cover-ups. All eyes are on the industry after Friday's deadly earthquake and tsunami affected the cooling systems of several Japanese reactors, with 2 explosions at one plant in Fukushima. Tony Burrell told PM, while it appears authorities are being transparent in their latest crisis, their record is tarnished. They're not being transparent. It's not been good. The recent occasion is an example of the new regime, if you like, of actually telling people a blow-by-blow of what's going on. What do you